for the first corner. Jim Richards picking the pace up. Miedecke a good start. But it'll be Dick Johnson into the carousel for the first time with Peter Brock right behind and John Bow a brilliant start.
Tony Longhurst in fourth spot in the Benson and Hedges Sierra, car 25. They have put a new engine in the car after the warm-up here this morning. Longhurst just wasn't happy with the way it was running. It appeared to be, or was down on compression, and they opted to run a new engine. Let's say a new engine that has been run before. They know the capabilities of it, but by gee, look at Johnson go. Oh, Bow almost off as Longhurst went round him.
Well, he said you made the start. We're going to do some racing now. So Longhurst has got round the outside of Bow. Jim Richards sits behind him. Miedecke's closed it up. And look at Greg Hansford. He made a blinding start also. They come round for the completion of the first lap. This is a 1 hour time race. And the Queenslanders think this is fantastic. Nicky Johnson out there and leading the pack from Peter Brock. And another Queenslander and Tony Longhurst coming up, making no bones about it. He wants to get up and race Johnson. He closes in on Brock as they reach the carousel for the second time. Tony a little agitated, wants to get on with this, slips up the inside of Brock. Oh, there's not much room there, but Tony takes a bit of that, bit of the grass, and gets through the second. Queensland 1-2 at this stage as they go beneath the bridge.
Finds a way past. He's certainly the one on the charge. It'll be interesting to see what tyres. I'd suspect he's running the softer D15 Dunlops. How will they last?
I don't know at that pace and using all of the racetrack. I can't see them doing the hour, but at least he's been able to get through the pack, and he is now up running second. Johnson with a good buffer.
Longhurst is on the D15s, and teammate Neville Crichton is running the harder D3s. So yes, will they last? That's the question. Frank Gardner was pretty confident they would, but they'll be prepared just in case they have to make a change.
Yeah, I see this more and more as being a race of tyres. With all of that rain that we've had here, it's cleaned the rubber right off the circuit. It's very abrasive and a race of tyres.
Well, you saw that pass there on our Dulux Auto Colour race cam as Peter Brock has been given the go-by John Bow.
Yes, it appears that at this point in time of development that Bridgestone have developed a good qualifying tyre, but they've not yet, it would appear, come up with a very good race tyre. And you can see Jimmy Richards climbing all over Brock now, and his Yokohamas are working, obviously.
Well, Bridgestone's Brock is running the hardest tyre that they can provide him with, but it is still quite an experimental tyre at this stage. And they'll get a lot of answers out of today's race, win, lose or draw.
Oh yes, they'll get it right. They keep working till they do.
Once again, they come across the start-finishing line. Dick Johnson, daylight then, to Tony Longhurst running in second. Bow is third, then Brock. Mixed up a gaggle of cars. Jimmy Richards closing on Brock as they make the run down to the carousel. We'll notice Johnson exit the corner. There he goes. Here comes Longhurst in second, Bowers in third, and then there is quite some traffic building up behind these three cars, and here it comes now.
Jim Richards all over the back of Peter Brock.
And smoke coming off the rear left of Longhurst's car.
Andrew Miedecke just in behind them. Greg Hansford in Alan Moffat's ANZ Sierra.
And Johnson is through Brock. Jimmy Richards is through Brock on the inside of Hungary.
And it looks like Miedecke wants to make that one more spot on the field as he hounds Brock now. They come on the downside of the roller coaster. There's Jimmy Richards. And here we take our race cam, our Dulux Auto Colour race cam, Andrew Miedecke. We're looking out the back of Peter Brock's Mobile Sierra. And the front of the Kenwood Sierra, you can see there coming down to the inside. Doesn't give you the best view with the wing sitting up there, but we'll see where Miedecke can make the closing move. He comes right up behind Peter Brock now. And unfortunately for Peter, he's the one going back through the field.
There are not too many places you can get past here at Lakeside.
Real racer strip this place, Alan.
Brock gets away through from Miedecke through the kink in the straight and down the back straight. His car looks very hard, but it's certainly handling the higher speed corners better.
Coming once again down the hill, you notice Greg Hansford now starting to close up in the ANZ Sierra. He's right behind Andrew Miedecke as they head down the straight. Then Glenn Seton in the Peter Jackson car. George Fury is the next one through. And Miedecke sits right on the draft of Brock as they go through the kink. The short run down the straight for the right-hander. Second is third, still about the same. Johnson holding the same buffer over Longhurst. Then back to John Bow in car number 18, the second of the Shell Ultra Sierras.
Still got that smoke coming off the rear left line.
The aggressive driving nature of Tony Longhurst we've seen very clearly here today, coming through the pack. And he opens that gap up a bit on John Bow, but he'll have to give you a time gap between Dick Johnson back to Tony Longhurst to see if he's making any inroads there on the lead, held by Johnson.
There's the gap. Johnson disappearing at the bottom of the screen. Here comes Longhurst, then Bow, then Richards. Brock falling back into the clutches of Andrew Miedecke. Greg Hansford sitting right on his tail. And here comes Glenn Seton in the blue Sierra there at the top of the screen.
Yeah. Dick's in such a...
There's debris on the track there and a car off on the infield.
Looks like one of the Toyotas.
So I think that someone had a bump there earlier and they've left a bit of bumper or some coach work.
Here's the race at the moment. Ken Matthews had a hit.
Yes, that's the second of the Caltech CXT Sierras. Bad luck for Kenny Matthews. He's obviously been drilled in the door. That happened early in the race, so it was a coming together probably of Ken and someone just around where he started on the grid.
Brock Longhurst, I'll get it right in a minute. Miedecke and Hansford. 4th, 5th, 6th, and Glenn Seton closing on them, followed by George Fury in the second of the Nissans.
Yes, and Jimmy Richards is getting away from that group. They're obviously walking each other a little, but Jimmy's the one making the charge at the moment, I think. And isn't Dick in such a good position? He's cleared the ruck, he's clear and clean.
Oh, how close can you go? Yeah. On the Dunlop Auto Colour race cam, that's the nose of Andrew Miedecke's Sierra.
Good out there for Yokohama and Minecraft at the same time as our race cam peers out.
Miedecke running on the Yokohama E-compound tyres, the hardest that they can put on.
Yes, and Brock's still able to get away from him down that back straight.
Now, I think they're up on Bob Holden, are they not? Bob does the right thing again, waves them all by.
And Seton's getting a lot closer to this pack now. Joe Somariva also moving over and giving them right of way.
Once again, Peter Brock tries to hold on and fend off Andrew Miedecke through the kink. See the cars move around on the racetrack. Right up now behind Peter Brock comes Andrew Miedecke.
Bad news for the Toyota people. That debris we saw earlier in the car parked off on the track. 2 of their cars off on the infield. Faulkner and Dowson both involved in some incident there.
Well, it's bad luck because they've been very, very competitive, and Dowson was really looking good here yesterday when that Toyota Start Search program. The motorcyclists having a run here today. Bad luck for Toyota. But courtesy of Toyota, Caltex and ANZ car loans, you're watching the action of the Touring Car Championship from Lakeside. Greg Hansford. Good to see Greg having a run too. He doesn't get to have a run all that often, and there's one of the Toyotas, 33 car parked down on the infield.
That's Dowson's car, and Faulkner's car is there as well, and there's part of the front assembly of the car. The marshals have not been able to get out onto the track to remove it.
Yeah.
Been there for 2.5 laps. But the traffic through there is pretty constant. A very dangerous spot, as Terry Finnegan found out yesterday.
Well, they've got to try and remove that because that's one of the prime overtaking spots. You can't go down the inside there and use that bit of road. You just can't get past. Here, this is a great shot going down the back straight. You see Brock just inching away from Miedecke down there. And then he comes at him under brakes again. But Peter Brock's successfully operated on the rear of his Sierra. It's now about 16 feet wide.
Oh, he's close there. Just trying to get his nose underneath the rear of Brock's car. Can't quite make it. Flat strap here, these cars.
I'm sure Greg Hansford wonders how many Sierras are in front of him.
That's right. They're coming up on some of these cars to lap now. So this will be interesting stuff heading down to the carousel. Miedecke eased out that time. They were coming up on a whole group of cars. You'll probably see this as they come out. There's one of the Toyotas, the 32 car, as they make the exit. That's John Faulkner.
So he is back on the track.
That's Gerald Kay, was it? They went past.
Yep.
There's Brocky. Still throwing it around.
Got a bit of a gap there on Miedecke at this stage. Biggest gap he's had for a while. Hansford closing on the rear of Miedecke's car, and Seton just edging up all the time.
My way of looking, the Johnson, Brock and Richards are clearly the fastest three down the straight, down the back straight.
There's the race leader, Dick Johnson.
Between the lap cars and the debris on the racetrack, it's certainly a bit to the advantage of Dick here.
Yes, he's in a great position. He's able to keep his car straight now, look after his tyres. He's running 15s, the softer Dunlop, and he must look after them, otherwise it's just a tyre race. And if he runs out of rubber, it's not the fact that he runs out and they blow out on him, or he actually has to stop for that reason. It's just that you lose so much time, and you can be comfortably 6 or 8 seconds in front, and in 3 laps, once your tyres have gone over the top, you can lose that time.
Oh, we have an accident at the top of Lakeside. There
Lusty.
are cars.
It's Graham. It's one of the Lusty brothers, John Lusty, isn't it?
Glenn Seton is involved. Andrew Miedecke's car is involved. And we have the Lusty brothers Commodore is off the racetrack.
Yeah, John Lusty driving that car this weekend. Graham Lusty, of course, has been the regular driver of it recently, but he injured his hand in an industrial accident up at Simmons Plains. Oh, look at the smoke. I hope he's out of the car.
Seton's still in the car, and he's got a small fire starting. It may only be a grass fire underneath his car, but he's still in the car.
Mr. Ford's car is out. Murray Carter is also involved in that accident. Surely the red flag will be out. And we'll take a race cam with Brock. Brock is coming over here.
Look at the debris on the side of the track. It's everywhere. They've not been able to get this fire under control.
Hopefully the red flag is out. It has come out now.
Yes, it's out.
The trouble they've got now is that the first fire truck to get there has probably expended their extinguishers on the first car. The second one's now taken right off, and they're going to wait for the next fire truck. The Commodore was the first one to catch fire, and it's now out.
Look at the bend in the guardrail there. He's slammed into that with unbelievable force.
Well, there's the extra guys have arrived. It's only a matter of time. They'll have that out now. In fact, you'll probably, next thing you'll see, it'll be one of the big bombs will arrive, the big fire bombs.
Yeah. Well, there is Glenn Seton's car carrying our race cam.
That's a heavy hit, Mike. You see underneath the pedals, the floors are all buckled.
Yep. Go across to another one of the vehicles against the wall there.
Working frantically, the fire marshals.
This has been one of the worst fire accidents that I can recall seeing in Australia.
Yep. There's the scene here at Lakeside. The third round of the Australian Touring Car Championship has come to a standstill. In a day where we've seen a record number of very serious accidents. Fortunately, nobody has been seriously injured, but very, very spectacular accidents.
I'm just trying to place exactly how many cars were involved in that. The Lusty brothers car, Glenn Seton, Murray Carter, and I think Andrew Miedecke.
Miedecke is certainly involved, yes.
So they've all come.
4 of them at least.
They're so badly damaged, and that with the burning, it's difficult, for example, to decide what sort of motor car that is.
Yeah. There's the Lusty Commodore. As the smoke clears, you can look down the racetrack.
He's actually under the guardrail.
Yeah, he's gone. Well, there's quite a scene here at Lakeside Raceway. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back. Money that has just been totaled. Do you have an idea?
Yes, certainly in excess of $200,000 lying in the middle of the track. It's a major, there's no question of that. Everything's completely gone. You'll find even the engine being shut off that quickly, and probably even breathing fire and exhaust fire and fire extinguisher.
Looking off to the left of the track, car number 14 is in fact Murray Carter's Ford Sierra.
Yes, the front of that's totally gone. That's obviously back into the firewall as well. That's that car is written off, I would think. Although the door is open and the back is open.
Then, of course, the Peter Jackson Ford Sierra of Glenn Seton, who I think probably would have been the first or the second innocent party to the accident. And
Yes.
in fact, we might now have a look at a replay, which will show you very, very slowly, taken off one of our race cams, the one in the Peter Brock car. Now, this is looking out the back. Now, watch following through. There's Lusty's car to the right. Andrew Miedecke comes up and starts to veer across onto the racing line, touches Lusty's car. It immediately turns Lusty into the wall, and also going in at the same clip is Andrew Miedecke.
Yeah, he slid across. He's gone for the inside pass. He's certainly had enough room to go for it. And then his car is, you know, what happens when you're sitting there is the only one guy that really knows, and that's Andrew Miedecke. But there was certainly enough gap, enough road to go for there, and on the way through, for some reason, maybe he's hit a bump and the car's just slipped sideways a bit.
I'd guess what's happened then is, of course, Miedecke's car has bounced back onto the middle of the racetrack and collected Glenn Seton, Murray Carter.
What happens after that is totally out of anybody's control. Just in they go, bang, bang, bang.
There's Murray Carter. Not a happy day for Murray. Murray's been in motorsport for, I don't know, probably 30 years.
Yes.
Used to race custom lines at Phillip Island. And
maybe even longer.
Maybe even longer before, just when they came out with the custom line. And he wanted to go, after a season or so with Nissan, wanted to go race with the boys again with the Sierra this year. And there's not much left of it at the moment.
No, that's a major accident. Look at the guardrail pulled up right up over the top of Lusty's car. He's actually been able to get the motor car under the guardrail. That's quite extraordinary. But due credit to the fire marshals here, they've certainly got the Lusty car out very quickly. I'd say they exhausted their first line of extinguishers on that motor car, but the backup was there very quickly. It's great that all drivers are okay, and that's really the reason that all that fencing there, the reason that the officials and the fire marshals are there. And I think it's so difficult to find a plus side from an accident like this, but with the safety designs and the safety equipment in the motor cars and the rescue vehicles, the fact is we've had a major fire accident, more than 4 cars totaled, I should suggest.
Yeah.
And nobody hurt.
Now that is, that's the good news. Let's go to Gary Wilkinson.
And back to... Well, Mike, it's frantic out here at the circuit just under the Dunlop Bridge at the moment, and looking a little hot and bothered, as he's got a right to be, is Murray Carter. Unbelievable mishap, Murray. I mean, can you piece it together?
Not really. I came into the back straight here, and there was one car off to the side against the armco, but I got a bit further down, and there was another car appeared to be sideways on the track, and I was just tucked in behind 2 Commodores, which took up basically all the track, and they swerved to avoid a car that was in the middle of the track, and by the time I saw it, I swerved over, but then I didn't see the car that was on fire in the middle of the track, which by the time I swerved, I was on this side of the track, and had I swerved any further, I would have been into the armco, so... But there again, I clipped the Miedecke Sierra, and that was basically the end of the whole thing.
We do see some bad accidents in motorsport from time to time, but this is the worst fire accident that I can recall in Australian motorsport.
Yes, it seemed to be all so condensed that I don't think there was anywhere for anyone to go. The track was basically taken up with debris and cars, and at the speed we were travelling, with the track the way it's situated, you couldn't manoeuvre to try and avoid anything, otherwise you'd be into the armco regardless.
Well, I haven't personally spotted the other drivers. We're trying to round them up at the moment, but do you know whether any of the guys were hurt?
I believe not. I'd say they'd all be fairly shaken because it's a fairly fast part of the circuit, and I think it happens unexpectedly to everyone.
You're looking pretty composed under the circumstances.
Oh, well, I'll probably suffer tomorrow when I look at the bank account.
Murray Carter, good to see him safe, and we're going to go and try and check on the other drivers and see if we can speak to them in the next few minutes. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Gary. Let's take a look again, see if we can piece the accident together with Alan Grice. This is normal speed. How quickly does it happen? Miedecke, one crash, bang, straight into the wall under the bridge.
And then bang, 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 yep.
And there's just one of the cars heading off Andrew Miedecke's car, the Ford Sierra.
I think I inaccurately called that Glenn Seton was still in the car. I think on the replay we saw there, Mike, that he was out quite smartly. It must have been Murray Carter that was still sitting in the car.
Yeah. There's the Lusty brothers Commodore. And I would think at this stage, you know, the Lusties take a bit of stick because they're in a praying from time to time, but I think maybe in this particular case they might have been John Lusty might have been the innocent victim in that one.
Yes, there was. It was apparent that he'd identified motor cars behind him, and that's the first job of a car being lapped. There was definitely room when Andrew attempted to go down the inside there. In fact, he was just following Brock through, and we saw clearly that there was plenty of room there. And then he skipped across the track, and as I said, the only guy that really knows why that happened is Andrew. I'd suggest that it is a bit bumpy on the back straight. When we see cars in full action down there using all of the road, they are moving on the suspension all the time, indicating the bumps.
Once again, the Armco's taken a nice old working over at Lakeside today.
Yes, it certainly has, and that's going to delay things. But there again, I guess I'm trying to be optimistic all the time. That's the reason the Armco's there, is to arrest cars and not bring them to a concrete halt. The fact that car has gone in and the track is wrapped around it, the surroundings have wrapped around it, has taken speed off, and the guy's okay.
Well, getting rid of some of the fuel already off the circuit, the oil that's been dropped there at the scene of the accident. I pay a special tribute to our outside broadcast crew of VTQ7 here in Brisbane today. The boys have been on the spot with just about everything that's happened. They've down tools and run to the scene of accidents with cameras and so forth to bring you up to date, and for us to be able to talk to the drivers. They've done a splendid job. Heartache for Glenn Seton and Bo Seton.
Yes, indeed. I know they do have another motor car, and I know Andrew Miedecke's got another motor car, and I know Lusty are probably the most accomplished guys in the country at fixing their cars.
Yeah, well, they've got plenty to do before the next round of the Touring Car Championship at Wanneroo in Perth. In the meantime, we'll take a break and then come back with some more action.
It's surprising. There's a number of people or companies that have been inquiring as to, where are the Commodores? Why do we have Holden secret vehicles, and when can we get a...
Thank you, David.
So is there a chance, Malala, we might see?
Yes, we're in the final throes of discussing that with Wins and one other corporation, and we're certainly looking forward to coming back in the latter part of the Touring Car Championship and then the long distance races.
Well, we look forward to that very, very much. Well, some people are taking time out at Lakeside on the lake. In the meantime, Gary Wilkinson has a few of the drivers involved in this afternoon's major accident.
Mike, I got two of the key figures that were involved in the incident. Glenn Seton, unfortunately, has left the circuit. He was caught up in the aftermath here, but of course, Andrew Miedecke and John Lusty were the two key figures. I guess this is what touched the whole incident off. First of all, if I could talk to Andrew, you were going like a bat out of hell in pursuit of Peter Brock, who got past John, and you were on the way past yourself when things came unglued.
Yeah, we touched, and that was just enough to start a huge chain reaction. My car turned left into the fence and it really hit hard. And with these turbo cars, if there's a fuel leakage at all, the car just goes up, and so I went up in flames. Then Glenn came along and hit my car, and as I got out, Murray Carter hit it.
There's no question of apportioning blame in these kinds of incidents, but exactly how did it happen, and from your view?
Well, it's a very, very bumpy circuit. It's a very fast part of the circuit. I think John was doing his best to give us room, but I think there wasn't a lot of room. I was going hard, and I think that it's a racing incident.
John Lusty, at this stage of the game, things were getting a bit hot for you.
Yes, as soon as I crashed, it burst into flames, and I didn't want to get at the driver's side because there's still a lot of traffic going through. And it was clear out to the left, so I went out through the armco, out the passenger side window.
There's, of course, almost no warning of these things happening. I mean, Andrew looked like he was about to clear you without any difficulty, and then he's hit that slight corrugation in the circuit.
I felt I'd left plenty of room. I saw Brocky and Andrew coming in the mirror, and I moved over, and I more or less thought they were through, but Andrew just came across at the last moment and just clipped the front of me, and away we went into the fence. There was nothing I could do. It's totaled the Steelmark Commodore, which... It's
totaled the fence as well.
Yeah. That fence is a little cheaper to fix than the car.
Andrew, talking about things getting totaled, unfortunately your car has been, and this is going to be, I think, a very serious setback for you financially.
Well, it is. It's, motor racing is an expensive sport. I'm very fortunate that I've had some great support from my sponsors, Yokohama, Kenwood, Blast Dynamics and Motorcraft. But you know, we're on a ragged edge anyway. I'm not sure what we're going to do from here.
There were 2 other cars involved as a consequence of this, Glenn Seton and Murray Carter. What the sequence of events as clearly as you can possibly remember?
Well, after I went into the fence, I was still in the car, but starting to look for my the seat belts. And Glenn arrived on the scene and bang. I didn't know who it was, of course, because there was a lot of smoke and flame around. And I got out of the car, and then and I went to turn to run across to the inside of the track, and 3 or 4 cars came through at racing speed. And honestly, that was the biggest fright, you know, because I'd taken the first couple of steps, and these cars just whoosh, you know. So I stepped back behind the car because that looked like it was a safer spot to be, and whammo, you know, Murray came through, and bang, you know. I thought, gee, and I couldn't understand why the cars were going so fast, and I guess they either didn't see flags or maybe there weren't any flags before the accident.
So what about the future for your racing team?
Honestly, I really don't know, Gary. It could well be a situation of having to call it a day. I think we'll just have a look at that situation and see what happens.
Okay, thank you very much to Andrew Miedecke and to John Lusty. Both got a lot of expenditure ahead of them if they're going to keep on pursuing the Australian Touring Car Championship in 1989. That about closes out our coverage for the day. Unfortunately, officials here still trying to get the track fixed up in preparation for a restart. We understand there is going to be a restart. We're going to hang here and we'll be recording the race as it transpires. I understand they're looking now at a 30-minute touring car race for full points, and we'll be able to bring you highlights of that or a replay of that at times to be advised around 7 Sport and of course on the Prime Network around Australia as well. But unfortunately we are not going to see the touring car race at this time. An unfortunate mishap, but fortunately all of the drivers escaping unscathed in this incident. I think that's the most thankful thing. It's certainly been a day of drama and incident here at Lakeside. Hope you can join us for our next round of the Australian Touring Car Championship coming from Wanneroo in Perth 2 weeks from now.